Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate, enslave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, cause I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring, and George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk a doubter, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati. What's good, my people? You're watching the MC Too Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too George Soros. Your people want their money. But before we get into that, I just want to plead and beg for my life. Please don't beat me to a bloody pulp for forgetting to point out yesterday as the 144th anniversary of the death of our nation's 20th president, James A. Garfield. He was laying in a hospital for quite some time before he finally expired. He was shot months earlier by some deranged lunatic that thought he was promised a cabinet position for helping Garfield campaign. The person was found and executed, and Garfield managed to outlive his executor, but he couldn't live a full year into his term even. And they tried all kinds of means to get this bullet out of James Garfield, and they were going in there with bare hands, all infected and dirty and nasty. They put him on a mattress that had springs in it, and thus Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone, couldn't even detect the bullet with his brand new invention, the metal detector, because he was laying on a spring bed. Previous mattresses were made of hay. This one had springs in it. And they couldn't find the bullet. And I believe they may have buried him with the bullet, if I recollect correct. But James Garfield, 144 years ago as of yesterday, dead for an assassin's bullet. And now let's get back to this story here. The grifters, the people who are paid to be activists and antagonists for AntiFa, came around to collect their paycheck. As you know from hearing my song, Watch Out for the Illuminati, George Soros got the money to pay for everything. But he chose not to pay the street communists, the street scum, the street animals that go out and do the dirty work of George Soros and the Open Society Foundation. Open Society Foundation is not a productive organization. It is what I believe, because of the proxy acts of terrorism it helps fund, could and should be listed as a terrorist group. They're the ones backing up BLM and Antifa riots.
all over the country and have been doing that for years, since the very foundations of these things. George Soros is the real founder of BLM, not Patrice, whatever the hell her name is, fat grifter that took everybody's money and bought a mansion in a white neighborhood with it. It was Soros. And Lord Jamar pointed that out in one of his many guest appearances on Vlad TV. Years ago, he pointed this out. He said this way back in like 2014 or something like that. Maybe 2015. It was on the heels of that Lil Wayne interview when the NBC reporter was trying to harass Lil Wayne to get him to say Black Lives Matter. And he turned around and said, my life matters, and went into this whole diatribe of how he's affiliated with gangsters. But, that reporter brought it on herself. That crew brought it on themselves. It's like, not every black person is down with this stupid organization, Black Lives Matter. But Walter Gork Newsom, or Walter Newsom, however you want to pronounce his name, he marches through the streets on behalf of BLM, saying all kinds of vile and disrespectful things about the memory of a true American patriot and a man of God, Charlie Kirk. And it was despicable, disgraceful, and disgusting. I'm not even going to show it because of how offensive it is and how blatantly disrespectful and disgusting it is. Yet these are the same people that will burn down cities for a man who had prior arrests for things like pointing a gun at the stomach of a pregnant woman, threatening to pull the trigger unless she reveals where she's hiding the money in her house and other valuables. That same man went on to eat meth when he found out the police were coming, and died of a drug overdose while in police custody. But because of the position he was in, people are still to this day going through their lives believing that George Floyd died because of Derek Chauvin's knee. And I owe, and I've said my apology to Derek Chauvin and his family for being duped into believing that he was the one responsible for the death of George Floyd. He is not. He had no hand in it. And the 5 years have come and gone that he actually deserved to be in jail. Yes, he did deserve to do at least 5 years for roughing him up, because he did rough him up. There's no mistake about that. He did not handle him gently. He roughed him up, and it was unfair, and he deserved his 5 years for that. Those 5 years came and went, and he should be released now because he's not a murderer. George Floyd died of an overdose while in police custody, which I would urge, I'm no cop, but I would urge every cop to get every suspect to the precinct alive and make that priority one. Get them to the precinct alive. They're tweaking out like that. Don't listen to them. Don't say, when they say put me on the ground, put me against the car, put me against this, but don't put me in that car, put me in that truck or whatever. They'll survive whatever they're tweaking over, as long as they're upright. If they're upright and they're tweaking, there's no guarantee that they won't die from their overdose, but it reduces the likelihood of them dying of their overdose. I know a thing or two about these things because, unfortunately, being of the streets, I've been around people who have had every variety of drug as their vice. It's not something I wear as a badge of honor, but there are some things I'm knowledgeable about due to that experience, or in knowing these characters. That's how I know not to take this drug, not to take this drug, not to take this drug, and conclude that none of them are any good, not even once, and thus I've never became a drug addict. God's honest truth. I never became a drug addict because I've watched people around me on these different varieties of drugs and the different effects they have on people when they take these drugs. And obviously, a lot of these Antifa people must have been on drugs if they thought they were going to get a fair shake doing the dirty work of George Soros. And George Soros kind of reneged on the deal with these people. George Soros has no value for human life. He's rich because he has no value on human life. This is the same person who, as a teenager, sold out his own countrymen who were supposedly as Jewish as he was to the Nazis. He became an informant for the Nazis and said he had no choice because he was a scared teenager. That is bullshit. He saw dollar signs at that ripe young age and made deals with the Nazis to gain the riches of all these families that he sold out, who were eventually marched to the camps and either worked to death or executed shortly after in one way, shape, or form or another. And that's what George Soros is all about. He is a sellout. He's always been a sellout. And it looks like his son Alex there is going to run all his hard work of evil right down the tubes. He married the ex-wife of Anthony Weiner, and as you know, Anthony Weiner got in trouble with his wiener, and he's on a sex offenders list. I'm not on a sex offenders list, but Anthony Weiner is. And Anthony Weiner is listed as a sex offender and a sex predator. And he has the gall to even think about rebooting his political campaign. And his wife, ex-wife, is now the current wife of the son of George Soros. Such an incestual, dirty group these people are on the left. Every type of grifter, sexual deviant, sexual predator, criminal, both white and blue collar, every drug dealer, every murderer, they're all with the left. Political assassins are definitely of the left. Tyler Robinson, although there's rumors out there that he was not the trigger man, and there might be rumors out there even that somebody from the Mossad did it. I gotta see it with my own eyes to believe it. As of right now, I'm not saying it's not true or is definitely true, but as of right now, I believe Tyler Robinson to be the assassin of Charlie Kirk, and he is a left-wing radical. And so was Vance Bolter. People are pointing out Vance Bolter trying to claim he's MAGA. He was never MAGA even for a second. We want truth, justice, and the American way. We don't want murder. That's a communist thing. Communists are the ones who kill to keep their way of life going. Not Christians, capitalists, or conservatives. And don't bring up the Spanish Inquisition. Don't bring up people who pervert the original intent. They're not real. And neither are you if you disingenuously bring that up. Because you are the same type of people that don't believe Kwanzaa was some random made-up holiday from the 1960s by some college professor in Colorado from a jail cell who admitted it on national TV that he made it up. And, you know, it's a decent, happy concept and things like that. It wasn't intended to be anti-white. It was intended to take a little piece of everything from a bunch of various African nations, clap it all together, and create this nice little traditional thing. But as far as it being a genuine holiday and a thing of heritage and stuff like that, hasn't been around long enough to be that. It's only been around since the 60s. And Antifa is the opposite of what its name suggests. Antifa is supposed to be an acronym for anti-fascist, yet they use fascist tactics to get their way. BLM, Black Lives Matter, but not even the black lives they fight for matter. I mean, why didn't Terrence Floyd get all that money from BLM? Why did it go to Patrice, who turned around and bought a multi-million-dollar home in a white neighborhood? If Black Lives mattered so much to her, why didn't she live in the hood? Why didn't she take that money and put it back in the hood and help put up some sort of programs and things like that to keep black youth off the streets and away from confrontations with the police? If Black Lives Matter to Patrice, why is she doing and saying absolutely nothing about the black youth that shoot and kill each other on a daily basis? Who knows, from the beginning of this video to now, who's to say if 10 black youth did not die from gunshots due to street and gang violence in Chicago? And not a single one of those trigger men are white. But it doesn't help their narrative when you say that. It does not help the narrative when you say that. It does not help the narrative when you point out that Antifa are paid agitators. They are paid aggressors. They are paid disruptors and will resort to violence to get their way or to push the agenda of whoever's paying them. And then apparently they don't get paid in some instances, Because here these protesters are somewhere on the West Coast. Could be Seattle, could be Portland, could be LA, could be San Francisco. But somewhere on the West Coast, there is a gang of AntiFa members protesting their sugar daddy, George Soros. And not on behalf of him, but against him. Screaming, George Soros, where's my money? And this is real. Unlike the plants with their Chinese-made MAGA hats kicking in windows at the Capitol to make it appear to be an insurrection, or people like Epps, Ray Epps, I believe that his name was, that tried to instigate charging the Capitol. You know, those were fake MAGA people, but these are real AntiFa people demanding their money for the agitation and aggression and violence they cause in inner city streets each and every day. These characters, these sons of bitches and bastards, they want their money because, you know, they're not so communist, you know, when they want that capital for their services of destruction, so that people like George Soros and Alex Soros could build on top of the ashes some sort of communist utopia. We have to keep fighting against this. Communism is wrong. It is of the devil. And they will take advantage of capitalism to usher in communism. And they will swindle their own if they have to. They are the scum of the earth. They're eating their own tail now. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Tuto. You be good now.